Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is just not moving, and I think, to be honest, before we see the CPI data released tomorrow, there will probably not be a lot of movement, but what we can then expect is probably a spike. And we can see that if we look at the volume down here, the volume indicator, you can see that the volume is dropping down in the shape of a triangle. That would typically be followed by another spike. So we can all be looking forward to tomorrow, towards the end of the week. CPI data, one of the most important sort of indicators that is going to be released in a month. If that is higher than expected, then what we can expect is probably a bit of a price drop, because it will mean that there are increased fears of further interest rate increases. On the other hand, if we see the CPI data lower than expected, then we would expect a little bit of upside in the market. So this is part of the volatility, and we just need to see how the market is going to react. Message here is tomorrow we can expect some volatility when we can see the CPI data release. So overall, however, how do we see the chart at the moment? Not much movement, so you'd expect no change to the chart. But because we see no movement, I'm actually entertaining here another idea now. What we have seen here, and that is my view, and sort of the medium term wave count doesn't really change. So we still have the wave 3 down here. We have the wave 4 up here. Now that will probably move. And I said to you already in the last couple of videos that if we don't see a little bit of movement here now in the Bitcoin chart, I'm probably going to move the wave 4 out, given that the wave more entertain the idea that the wave 4 hasn't finished yet. So current view here on this chart, for anybody who's new on the channel, is that we came down here to 24.5k roughly on the 12th of May. That was a wave 3. Yeah, so after that you would normally get a wave 4, in this case to the upside, a corrective wave 4. And after that, we would expect a lower low in a wave 5. So the fifth wave would then complete this cycle, and also the fifth wave should move lower than the wave 3 low here at 25.4k. So at any point, or at some point here, we would expect a move to the downside. Now, when that is going to happen, I don't know. What is important for confirmation that we are entering this fifth wave is a move below 28.6k and ideally even 28k. I mean, this needs to happen to make that work, and those would be the confirmation levels. Now, I gave you the idea already, or considered the idea here in previous videos, that the wave 4 finished up here, because we entered that target area, which is the ideal retracement level for a wave 4, between 32.1k and 34.3k. We reacted to that level, and it looked like we were starting an impulsive move down here in a wave 1, in a 5-wave move. You can count that as a 5-wave move, moving up in a 3-wave move in a wave 2, moving down again in this after wave 2. What would you see? A wave 3. Yeah, so this is where I would expect we're currently in a wave 3, after we've seen here a wave 1, a wave 2, now the wave 3. Within the wave 3, again, you have 5 waves. So we have a wave 1, a wave 2, and we would now need to see the wave 3 of the wave 3 coming. Yeah, so every wave has sub waves as well. And this is an absolute valid way to consider this, given that this wave 2 was lower than this peak. Fine, you can count this as a wave 2 then, because the wave 2 can retrace quite a lot, but is not allowed to go above, in this case, the previous peak. Then we have a wave 1 and a wave 2, again, because this low is lower than the previous one. That would indicate we have a wave 3 coming. However, if you understand how this works, you will know that a wave 3, especially a wave 3 of a wave 3, is normally the strongest move. In this case, it would be the most bearish move, often, yeah, very often. However, we hardly see any movement. So I'm currently looking at a different idea, considering something different. As I mentioned, if we don't see a lot of movement here, it is probably not a wave 3 of a wave 3. So I'm actually now leaning towards a different idea, which would be that the wave 4 hasn't finished yet. The wave Y hasn't finished yet. and that the actual wave Y here is actually in the shape of a triangle. I mean, you can see the triangle here. That I'll still leave this wave count currently in place, but I want to explain to you what I'm looking at here. Also for educational purposes, because I know a lot of people who watch this channel want to learn Elliott waves. So we still have that WXY pattern that I told you, but I'm currently considering the idea the wave Y never finished. Now, the idea could then be, all right, in a wave Y, we move once more into this yellow target area. The other idea, which currently, because of that triangle shape, actually is more likely, in my opinion, is that we've seen here the wave W, we've seen the wave X, as explained. However, this wave Y comes in the shape of a triangle. So a wave A to the upside, a wave B to the downside, a wave C to the upside, a wave D to the downside, and wave E. Is it finished? Is it not finished? Yeah, so this is what we're now looking at. You could still put the wave E here, for example, and that would then also be the completion here of the wave Y and the wave 4. So I'm observing that idea. Yeah, I'm looking at that. That would eventually lead to a very, very similar outcome to what I just showed you here with this 5-wave move down, with this scenario. Very similar outcome. It would just explain a little bit better why we are currently moving sideways so long, because this is a triangle in itself in a wave Y. Normally, when you have a WXY pattern, you would normally expect the wave X to be a triangle, but it can also occur in a wave Y, just not that often. So this idea I'm currently considering, if this is a triangle, what do we need to look at? So if the wave E peaked here, then we should not move above 30,853. If we do that, it would suggest the wave E has never finished. Invalidation point for this scenario would be the wave C high. So the price should not move above 31,735. If it does that, it will invalidate this triangle, and we would then expect higher prices into the target area here between 32.1k and 34.3k. So again, in both scenarios, I do expect a turn down, a move down. If we move down from here straight away, or if we move a little bit into the target area and then come down, for me, just the most likely options. For me, absolutely the most likely options. There is a scenario, there is of course also a bullish scenario, a breakout scenario that would become much more likely above 34.3k. However, and I want to really make that very, very clear, the structure that Bitcoin is doing here at the moment is absolutely horrible. And I'm not saying that because I'm frustrated. It is basically because this structure does not allow for, or it in no way would allow an impulse to form. Yeah, this is not an impulsive structure that would allow new all-time highs to form. This kind of foundation just would not support all-time highs. I don't know if I need to say it once more, but this doesn't mean we couldn't see a breakout. But in my opinion, any breakout from here would not result in all-time highs. If we really see price action significantly above 34.3k, and if we really have some kind of a breakout, then this would be an extended ABC pattern, which I would hate, and I'm sure a lot of people would hate as well. We would really look at something like an ABC, so I would need to look at the chart in a bit more detail, but it could be something like we came down here in a wave A, we're moving up in a wave B, we're moving down in a wave C. That would mean, this scenario would mean we would significantly move higher. Everybody would get super bullish, which I could understand, and it is an uptrend, and it would be a shame not to trade it, but it would be a wave B in my opinion, and this would mean that we would move down lower once more in a wave C. That means we need still then in this case another lower low, and it would also mean that this whole this whole correction, which has started end of May, would still not be finished, and it would just painfully extend this overall correction. So it's certainly something I don't want, and I know a lot of people don't want, and it would not support new all-time highs. So if a breakout occurs from here, I would remain extremely skeptical, the same way that I was skeptical when we built this structure here back in September, which also, well, we moved to new all-time highs, but it was not a sustainable uptrend. We broke down and have even made a lower low compared to the June low. So structures, foundations are very important. So bear that very much in mind. And this is just a structure that, first of all, it doesn't support the creation of an impulse, and would also not be the foundation for an impulse to develop. So I'm very much of the view the most likely scenario is a move down. But if we have a breakout scenario, it would be a corrective move up, and we need to prepare for further downside afterwards. It's a scenario I don't want, and therefore my primary expectation would be this move down. And the key moves that need to happen to really break down here is a breakdown below 29.2k first, that previous swing low, then 28.6, and then 28k. And if we see one more lower low here compared to the wave 3 low from the 12th of May, that can be the last one. As I said before, the low could be in, the temporary low could be in, but based on the structure here, I would just be extremely skeptical with any breakout scenario, and I don't think we're going to move to all-time highs from here without having another lower low. That is my call, and that's what I'm waiting for. Yeah, I'm waiting for either lower lows, and if we have a breakout, I'd be extremely skeptical. I would probably go long, but I would make sure that I have very tight stop losses. That is only my view and my approach here. So hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, check out the channel membership. And see you in the next video. Bye-bye.